What's good, YouTube? It's me, your Vice Squiddy, back in another Squiddio. So I want to do a deck profile on the branded Chimera deck that we played for this YCS. Even though we didn't do too well, but we got day 2 and then was X2-1, so it's technically already out of the tournament. But you know what? I thought I'd show it to you guys anyways because I think this deck is a lot of fun. It's decently good, I think, still to do well in the meta. So without further ado, I guess we dive in. So yeah, it's very standard. 3 Sword Knight, which is like the lone fire to get into anything. 3 Quado to search for stuff. 3 Gazelle. So some people play 2, but I think you need 3 because if you send one off Branded Fusion and then you add one with Berfomet the turn 1, on the consecutive turn you don't have anything to follow up with, so you kind of need the third copy there. 2 Berfomet. Sometimes it feels like you want 3 because just having one more in the deck is important. If you're out of Fiends, it can be really hard to fuse into your consecutive Chimeras because you just have nothing else to fuse with in your deck. But I think you don't really want to draw the card generally, so it's fine. And then also played 3 Fenrir. So originally we weren't playing this, but I think the card is just so good. Even in a mid-range format, like just having this on the field is really hard for certain decks to clear. They have to burn like an Imperum or a book to get rid of it because the banish actually does matter. And especially against Unchained, it's kind of a tough matchup. So having a banishing card is very good because the rest of the deck is all destruction. So I think it's just a nice card to have. And then also played the Phoenix Enforcer engine. I just think it's really powerful, especially in a mid-range format. It's not very good against Unchained, so we do side it out because it pops. But against basically everything else, it's really good. It gets a lot of value. And these guys, you can draw 2 cards after or summon something off the Dasher. You could also debate playing the Evil hero, Malicious Edge, which is a Fiend hero. But he's not a D hero, so you can't actually banish him with Celestial. So you would have to wait until DP is in the grave to banish to draw 2. But it worked out. This is probably one of the best cards in the deck. And then the last brick is just 1 Fallen Malbaz, just for branded fusion. So it's really nice. Also, playing 1 is okay. Against Unchained, instead of going into the Albion, it's better to go Lubellion so you can recycle this back. Because that matchup's really grindy, so you will need to make use of your consecutive branded fusions, especially if you want to send Albion off of Mirror Jade, and then you can search for follow-up. So just shuffling this back is really nice. And I know some people are playing Dragoon as well, but we decided not to play it. Just don't think you need it. Mirror Jade plus like searching the Destiny Hero follow-up with the Albulenitus I think is good enough. Hand Trap's really standard, 3 Nib, 3 Ash. Yeah, I think these cards are just generic. Was playing Veiler and Mortal before, but decided to try out Triple Tactics Talent instead. Honestly, in hindsight, I think Veiler's a lot better. Tactics was pretty dead all tournament, to be honest. And then spells, 3 Chimera Fusion, 3 Branded Fusion, 3 Fusion Destiny. So the nice thing about playing Fusion Destiny is that you play around things like Droll and Lockbird because you always have like a power card to play, and it's just really powerful when like you're under Droll. It's like you rip a card out of their hand essentially, and then you get to put up like a Branded Fusion or like a Fusion Destiny. And these cards are just so good in a mid-range grind game that I think they're really important. The caveat is that people are playing anti-spell and D-barriers, so these cards are a little worse into them. But I felt like hand traps were just better to stabilize against those cards. Whittle down your opponent's board so the anti-spell and like the D-barrier doesn't really hurt, because those cards really only hurt when they have a board, right? So that's why I decided to just play the fusion spells, and also didn't play Crossout for that exact reason. Just felt like it wasn't very good. 3 Pot of Prosperity. A lot of people don't play this card, but I think it's really powerful, especially digging for like these fusion spells. It's really important on turn 1 to be able to dig for this as your first action. And then if you have Sword Knight, it doesn't even matter. Or like you Sword Knight first, and then if you have this, so you can like normal summon the Sword Knight, and then that way, even though you don't resolve your Chimera stuff, you get to rip a card, and you have like a Fusion Destiny on board with Sword Knight for follow-up. Side these out game 2 going second because you can't use it with Chimera Guardian. And then like the best non-engine, Book of Moon, 2 Tactics. This card is super dead. I think you just play 1, so it's good for thrust. It's just like not very good against like cards like Anti-Spell, obviously. And I felt like you had to kind of play into a lot of the boards to make use of this. So I don't think the card is that good in this deck specifically. I think hand traps are just better. Also, you can draw them off of Guardian Chimera. And then last was Imperum, probably the best hand trap right now because it doesn't play into Talents or Thrust. I played 43 in the main deck. It's kind of chunky, but that was the only way to fit Fenrir as well as the DP stuff. So that's why we settled on that. And then we'll do side deck. Side deck, fairly standard. 3 Eclipse. This is like the best card into Cashier boards as well as into the Pureleys. Obviously non-targeting. Just think it's really powerful. 2 Cosmic for back row. Probably could have played a third one. This is also very good going against Unchained because it banishes going first. Decent, good going second. Against Anti-Spell as well, you need it. So we're signing this in going second all the time. 2 Thrust. So we're not playing the cross out because I feel like that card just, the issue with this format is that there's D-barrier and there's anti-spell, so literally you can't play around both. Like you can't side in Cosmic Cyclone plus like 4 cards, like a D-barrier and 3 cross out. It's just too much. And on the off-hand chance that they have anti-spell, it's like cross out just does nothing, whereas vice versa, if they have D-barrier, like, you know, so you can't play around both, so that's the dilemma. Felt like Thrust was just a little better because you can search for powerful fusions like Branded Fusion, Fusion Destiny, even Pot sometimes to dig into your engine is just really, really nice. I think it worked out. The only caveat is obviously anti-spell, but I think it's a card that you just have to, you can't really play around right now with a fusion deck like this. And then Harpies and Herald for the thrust targets. This is also very good against Unchained because you have to get rid of the DDD or the Nightmare Griffin to play. So being able to search it and just out it. I guess it's harder to do Griffin because when they have Muckracker, it's like the same type and attribute, so it doesn't work. But against DDD, the Water Fiend, it's really, really relevant. And then also we played one called Binds just for going first. It's good against everything, good against Shifter, Ash, Hand Traps, Anchor Tops, same kind of deal, just 1 for 1, trading against Anti-Spell, against a Rise Heart. And then we played 2 Phantasme. I love this card because it's absolutely insane against a diverse metagame where a lot of decks are playing Links. You can play against Dragon Links, Marin Cess, Unchained. There's so many cards that play Links, and just being able to draw 2 cards, have a potential negate, and also draw into your powerful hand traps like Nibiru or this card, Skullmeister, which we played because it's a Fiend that works decently well against Unchained. It's like a 5th copy of Ash because you can just use it in the graveyard effects. It also works against certain other matchups, like in the mirror match, you can kind of stop them from adding back Chimera Fusion, works against like Tearlaments, against like Hellbeck or Yugioh. And it's a Fiend, so you can fuse with it, which is really nice, because you do run out of Fiends when your birth events are gone, so having Fiends in your deck to inherently fuse into Chimera is really, really good. So I think the card was decently good. And then extra deck, 2 Chimera, you probably only need 2, no real argument to play 3. 2 Guardian Chimera to draw 2 cards. This card to OTK, very, very nice. Magnum, also very, very good. Dragostipelia. So yeah, against certain matchups, you got to decide what you want to Pot of Prosperity away. You generally want to keep this card in against the Unchained because it's one of your only interactions that doesn't pop. So it's really, really important to have them there. Rinbrum, also very, very powerful. You can bring this back. You don't have to bring back Fallen Malbaz. So this coming back, having the effect to negate stuff and bounce is really, really relevant. DPE was amazing. Really, really powerful card. Mirror Jade, Albion. This card to search Diffusion. So you make Mirror Jade, send this, end phase you can search Fusion Destiny for follow-up. The Bellland's really nice. One thing that you can do is actually hard fuse into DPE. So if you brick on one of these pieces and you have Branded Fusion, you can just make DPE using Branded Fusion because you go activate Branded Fusion, send Albaz, and this is in your hand. So you send the other piece, and then that there allows you to have access to both Lubellion. So you send Dasher and Albaz, make this, discard the piece, and then you can fuse back both to make a DPE. So it's kind of like cool in certain matchups. Just really, really cool card. And then the last couple of cards are fairly standard. Titaniclad, it's just with Branded Fusion to get rid of X Purely Nor, because this with like a Nibiru goes up to 4k, or like with the Pankratops, so it cannot be affected by any activated effects of extra deck monsters, so you can just swing over the X Purely Nor, so it's kind of cool. Or like a Towers monster like the Ignister, and then Zeus just for talents. So yeah, that's about it. I thought the deck worked really well. Unfortunately, we lost round 1 to Flunder because I misplayed really bad. With a deck like this, when you lose early on, it's really hard to top because of the existence of very stacky cards like Anti-Spell, D-Barrier, D-Shifter, and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, shout out to Marcus for lending me a lot of the cards, basically the entire deck, MJS Collectibles, thank you so, so much. Shout out to Sunny Hobbies as well. Check them out, they have an amazing store and a lot of stuff, and they do grading, so definitely hit them up if you want to grade the cards. Shout out to everyone from Montreal crew, shout out to all the guys that were here. And yeah, that's about it. Really, really excited about everything. So thanks you guys for checking, and we'll see you in the next video.